That someday you're pulling me back to you. That someday you're pulling me onto you.
Hello everyone, I am Christine A. Arcilia, a second year in Bachelor of Secondary major in English. Today I will be showing you how I create my diorama. But first, let me introduce some tools and supplies that I will be using. Now that we knew what are the tools and supplies that we will use, let's start creating. Story began when sometimes Jupiter was tired of eating ambrosia and drinking nectar up in the Olympus, and a little weary of listening to Apollo's lyre and watching the grays dance, he would come down to earth, disguise himself as a mortal, and go looking for adventure. Companion in this tour was Mercury, the most entertaining of all gods, the shrewdest and the most respectful. On this particular trip, Jupiter has determined to find out how hospitable the people of Persian were. The two gods accordingly took on the appearance of poor wayfarers and wandered through the land, knocking at each lowly hut or great house they came to, and asking for food and place to rest in. Not one would admit them. Every time they were dismissed insolently and the door barks against them, they made trial of hundreds, all treated them the same way. At last they came upon a little hovel of the humblest sort, poorer than any they had yet found. This house has a roof made only on reeds, but here, when they knocked, the door was opened wide, and a triple voice bade them enter. They had to stop, pass through the low entrance, but once inside they found themselves in a snug and very clean room, where a kindly faced old man and woman welcomed them in the friendliest fashion and bustled about to make them comfortable. The old man set a bench near the fire and told them to stretch out on it and rest their limbs, and the old woman threw a soft covering over it. Her name was Baucis. He told the stranger that her husband was called Philemon. They had lived in that cottage all their married life and had always been happy. We are poor folk, we said, but poverty isn't so bad when you're willing to own up to it, and a content spirit is a grand help too. All while she was talking, she was busy doing things for them. The coal under the ashes and the dark heat she fanned to life until cheerful fire was burning. Over this she hung a little kettle full of water, and just as it began to boil, her husband came in with a cabbage he had gotten from the garden. By also adding some pork, placed olives and radish, and several eggs, which she had roasted in the ashes, the couple had invited the two gods for eating the humble food that they had can give for them. As the two gods eat the couple, Baucis and Philemon, had noticed that the drink of wine and a cup of soup that they had given to the two peasants are not being emptied. No matter how many cups and soup poured from it, the level of the wine stayed the same. As they saw this wonder, each look in terror, they realized that the two guys is not some ordinary peasant boys on the street. As they realized, they begged their guests to pardon the poor refreshment they had offered, the only goods they have to give them, while Baucis chased the goods around the house that they can offer a much better food from the two couples, while Jupiter and Mercury watched them greatly entertained. The god felt that the time had come for them to take action. They were really kind. You have housed the the God, and you shall have your reward, while the wicked country, which despises the poor stranger, will be bitterly punished. But not you two. The gods showed them a great lake, which are surrounding their tiny, lowly hut, which had their home for so long, turned into a stately pillared temple of white as marble with a golden roof. Jupiter asked them, "Good people, ask whatever you want. You shall have your wish." Then Bellemenon said, "Let us be your priest, guarding this temple for you. And oh, since we have lived so long together, let neither of us ever to live alone. Grant that we may die together." The god assented, well pleased with the two. A long time they served in that grand building. One day, standing before the marble and golden, they fell to talking about their former life, which had been so hard, yet by now both were in extremely old age. Suddenly, they exchanged memory, each saw the other putting forth lips. Then bark was growing around them. They had time only to cry, "Farewell, dear companion." As the word passed their lips, they became trees, but they were still together. The linder and the oak grew from one trunk.